Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Puranana Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krita Vande भगवंतौ पुनः पुनः हो गया. So Bhagavad Gita we are doing today. Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 11th verse, 12th verse we have to do. 11th verse we have completed. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. 11th verse I am just getting the connection. Those who ye yatha mam prapadyante, those who pray to me with whatever, in whatever manner, meaning with whatever usefulness, meaning with whatever desire in their mind, or I would say with whatever sankalpa. Sankalpa means I want this, and therefore I am praying. Give me ye yatha mam prapadyante, tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. If you are a moksharthi, then you will ask for antahkarana shuddhi. You will, if you are a dhanarthi, vittarthi, then you will ask for vitta. Vitta means money. If you are disturbed by ill health or anything, then you ask him for liberating you from that ill health. Similarly, if you are a jignasu, student of knowledge, then you will ask for antahkarana shuddhi, moksharthi, vittarthi, and artharthi, artho jignasu, artha, artharthi, artha, jignasu, atmayamaya matam it is said. Jnani to atmayamaya matam it is said. Jnani is myself. And therefore, if you are artaha means if you are suffering from any pain, then you want him to be free, liberate you from that pain. If you are artharthi means vittarthi, dhanarthi, then dhanam will come to you. If you go on cherishing that wealth and I want money, money will come to you, ji. Slowly it will come to you. Something will happen. Because it's taking place, that cherishing is taking place in your psyche, in your being, in your heart. In your being means that being is none other than the truth. And therefore the sankalpa that takes place in the truth, it becomes satya sankalpaha. And therefore satya sankalpaha becomes very, very true. That sankalpa becomes true. Anything that you cherish slowly actualizes itself. But a moksharthi always prays to God, inspire me to understand the truth as it is. Inspire me to understand the Shastram as it is. Ye yatha maham prapadyante, tan tathaiva bhajamyaham. Tathaiva in the same manner. Tan means un logon ko. Tathaiva in the same manner. In the same manner means by way of giving them what they want. Bhajamyaham. Bhajami means anugrinahami. I bless them by way of giving them what they want. Mama vartmanu vartanti manushyaha path sarvashaha. This I have explained elaborately. That is, even if you want money, ultimately you want only Bhagavan. Bhagavan means only the fullness of your being. And you can't ask for more than fullness. You can't ask for more than fullness of your being. Happiness also it has a gradation. Some are happy, some are happier, some are happiest. And therefore, but you can't be more than full. An ocean cannot be more than an ocean. It is already an ocean. Some more water comes, it doesn't become bigger than an ocean. It is already an ocean. And therefore, when you become full, when you are full of fullness, and that fullness cannot be made bigger, and therefore everybody is only looking for whether a husband loves the wife and what he wants is only Bhagavan. God only is desire. He wants only the fullness of his being. So but he uses his wife for that fullness. That's where the problem is. The wife also uses the husband for her fullness. That fullness of one's being is what is called Bhagavan. And therefore your being is there, your fullness also is there, but it's not understood. Fullness of your being is there, it is already full, and therefore not only your existence is evident, your fullness also is evident. It's not understood, because as a conscious being, everything falls within consciousness, and that way you are full. All the five elements fall within consciousness. The space falls within consciousness, and you are aware of space. What you are aware of falls within awareness, and therefore it is within awareness. What is within awareness? If it is already, if awareness is all comprehensive, then definitely it is fullness. It is all comprehensive means as itself, like water is comprehensive of all waves, and therefore it is oceanic water. It is not qualified by any form. The form of the wave. The wave is small. Water is not big. It is comprehensive of the small and big. If a wave is big wave, then we say it is a big wave. But water is comprehensive of the small wave as well as a big wave. Small and big are comprehended by what is free from it is not qualified by smallness or bigness. And there, but what is smallness? Smallness is a dimension, bigness is a dimension, is a size. And in comparison, we say this is smaller and that is bigger, and therefore, but then both are comprehended by water. In the same manner, consciousness is comprehensive of a pebble and also a mountain. A pebble falls within consciousness, a sand grain also falls within consciousness, and a mountain also falls within consciousness. Like in the dream, you dream a pebble and you dream a mountain. Both are dreamt, both fall within your being. Both are dreamt, both are thoughts, and thoughts fall within your consciousness. Thoughts fall within the thinker, the consciousness. Without the consciousness, you can't entertain a thought. Without being a conscious being, you can't entertain a thought. And therefore, wife and husband use one another for that fullness. Consciousness being fullness, everybody is interested only in the fullness of one's being. If the happiness in the fullness of one's being means in the peacefulness of one's being. In the peacefulness of one's being means in the happy state of one's being. And that is indeed the truth. That is indeed called Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not someone other than you, and therefore, Mama Vartma. Mama means my. Vartma means my path. Anuvartante means follow. People always follow my path. Not only people, all pranis follow only my path. Anuvartante. Manushyaha, human beings. Partha, hey Partha, Sarvashaha, by all means. By all means, all pranis follow only my path. This is my way of explaining. Everybody follows my path. My path means it's not karma, it's not the karma yoga. Mama Vartma means everybody follows the path that leads to me, that leads to the fullness of one's being. Atmanustu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. You love the wealth, navare kshatrasya kama. If you love the power, kshatra, the power, and the power also is you want power for the fullness of your being. And you want money for the fullness of every pleasure. You want only for the fullness of your being. And that fullness is what is called a peacefulness, is what is called the truth. Is called Paramatma. The fullness of your being. And consciousness being all comprehensive, it is already full. You don't have to become full through something. You don't have to become full through pleasure. Without a pleasure also one can become full. Like in the deep sleep state, you don't have any pleasure, you don't have any enjoyment, but yet you are peaceful. And that peacefulness, that is your nature. And after waking up, having seen your height, your height, you don't want to settle down for less than that. And therefore you by being of the nature of fullness, you always seek fullness alone through every pleasure. But then pleasures are limited. Limited cannot give you the fullness. What is incomplete cannot give you the fullness. What is not full cannot give you the fullness. But yet, man always goes after the pleasures. Why does he go after the pleasures? Because he doesn't know that the pleasures are not the means to fullness. They don't have the definition of God correctly. The correct definition of God is the fullness of your being is called divinity. Divinity is not something other than you. As other than you, it is objectifiable. As other than you, it is objectifiable. As anything that is objectifiable is inert, and anything that is inert is an object. It has a size, it has a form, it has a taste, it has a visibility, testability, touchability, smellability, and audibility, and therefore, and minus all these things, there is no object. An object is qualified by visibility. It can be seen, and it can be heard, it can be tasted, it can be touched, it can be smelled. And then the earth can be objectified by all the five senses. The water can be objectified by all four senses. The fire can be objectified by three senses. The air can be objectified by two senses. And the space is objectified by one sense, that is called the sound. It is considered to be sound qualifies the space, and the space is manifest. It's called bhutakasha. Bhutam means the created space. Even though the logicians say the space is eternal, eternally is there, but then the other things come and go. But the space is not always there. That is also brought about in the creation. That is also created by the source. What is the source? The source is none other than yourself. The consciousness that is full, that is all comprehensive, alone is the source, alone is the material for the entire Jagat. Vartante Manushyaha he Partha Sarvashaha. And therefore, people follow the path of the pleasures in order to become full, in order to reach Bhagavan. But they don't reach Bhagavan. They remain unhappy, they remain uncomfortable throughout life, and then they die uncomfortably. That is because of they carried out throughout life a wrong definition of Ishvara, a wrong definition of Bhagavan, a wrong definition of God. And the right definition is that the fullness of your being is called the truth. The comprehensive nature of your consciousness is the truth. The oneness of the truth, oneness of the consciousness is the truth, is Bhagavan. The truth is God. God is the truth. Kangshanta karmanam siddhim. And now Bhagavan, Kangshanta karmanam siddhim. Now, before I begin this verse, I would like to talk, is God a matter of belief or faith? If it is a matter of belief or faith, every belief or every faith is subjective, please. You have a belief in something, I don't believe in it. You have faith in somebody, and then another person says, I have no faith in him. I don't believe in him. It is all subjectivity. It all depends upon one's bringing up and one's education from the mother, one's education from the father, and one's education from the teacher. Matruman, Pitruman, Acharyavan, Purusho Veda, it is said. These are the three sources of education. You always get education from the mother, the father, and then the teacher, the Acharya. If God were only a matter of belief or faith, then it would be subjective. It would be subjective means one's own, depending upon one's own likes and dislikes. You like or you have belief or you have faith in God. But it's not so. Your existence is not a matter of belief or faith. Your existence is a matter of evidence. So please see the difference between evidence and what is evident and what is a matter of belief. A matter of belief is something that is you believe it, like heaven, the rebirth. You may believe it. God is in heaven and he throws a dinner. When you go there, he gives you a dinner, and that is only That is a matter of belief. Once you say matter of belief, then there is no discussion. And therefore here, when it comes to Vedanta, Vedanta says God is not a matter of belief. God is not a matter of faith, not a subjective like and dislike. It is a matter of understanding. God is a matter of understanding. Truth is a matter of understanding. Otherwise, how do we know that there is truth? If it is not ununderstandable, it may not be objectifiable, but it's not ununderstandable. Unobjectifiability is different from ununderstandability. Ununderstandability is different. And therefore, faith is different. Faith is subjective, belief is subjective, but your own existence is evident. So thus, there is a difference between subjective evidence, subjective faith, and subjective belief and evidence. Your existence is not a matter of your belief, your faith. It is a matter of your existence, your experience. I experience that I am there. I experience that I am there. I experience that I am conscious. And that experience is what is called evidence. That experience is what is called evidence, please. The experience that is obtaining there, that is evident to be there, that is there already. You don't have to go for experience. Experience is already there. That experience that is already there is what is called evidence. That evidence, thus there is a difference between the evidence and subjective faith and subjective belief. This has to be understood correctly. Vedanta says God is not a matter of belief or faith. God is a matter of evidence. God is a matter of understanding. Like science is not a matter of subjective belief or subjective faith. It is a matter of understanding. Like science is a matter of understanding in the context of the earth. In the same manner, Vedanta says that God is a matter of understanding in the context of the whole creation. There is no context. It is free from all the contexts. It is independent of all the contexts. In the Vedanta is, in your own, Vedanta says that just as science is a matter of knowledge, matter of understanding, God, Bhagavan also is a matter of understanding. Matter of understanding is not a matter of subjective faith or belief. And whenever it is a matter of understanding, a man of understanding, people become sluggish in their mind. They don't take interest in it. If it is a matter of understanding, therefore God becomes very uninteresting because they don't analyze, they don't discuss. They want Bhagavan, but they don't discuss. They don't really talk about it. We don't believe in it. We don't believe in it. They say, until you hit a misfortune. When you hit a misfortune, then you wake up. I say, I have to believe in something beyond this world. Then you start talking about Bhagavan. Therefore, whenever you don't understand Bhagavan, then you start believing it, subjective faith, subjective belief. And you keep going with that subjective faith and subjective belief. But then understanding is different. And for that understand subjective belief and subjective faith comes to you only when it's not something to be understood. It is only something to be, somebody brainwashes you and then says to you that it is something to be believed. It passeth understanding and all that he says. And therefore I say it's not, it doesn't pass understanding. It passes because Krishna himself says, Nyayam yat pravakshyami yajnatva amritam ashnute. By understanding which you will become eternal, you will become immortal. By understanding which you will be free from this mortality, this non-eternity, this physicality. You will be free from this physicality. All this Bhagavan says, and therefore somebody may brainwash you, saying that this is not a matter of understanding, this is a matter of belief, this is a matter of faith. But then as a matter of belief and faith, it is always subjective. And therefore, when you hear this, you will become very interested. You will always get stuck with that belief or faith. All right, but you will not go for understanding the truth. But understanding is exactly what Vedanta is. Vedanta does not give you a belief about yourself. Vedanta doesn't give you a faith about yourself. Vedanta gives you understanding about your existence. How am I not the form? That is the vichara, that is the reflection. How am I not the form? Vedanta says you are not the form. It is a corrective knowledge. It's not a descriptive knowledge. It's corrective. You are not the form. Neti, 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 neti. Naidam, naidam, naidam. You are not the form. You are not the. To begin with, it says, yes, you are the material for the whole Jagat. And ultimately it says, even that standpoint, it negates, it corrects. Then even that materialism, that material, you are not. You are one without a second. You are like in the deep sleep state. You are not the cause of anything. You are not the material for anything. You alone are. You are only peaceful. That peacefulness of your being, the oneness of your being, is your nature, please. And that is explained away, that is described, that is taught by Shastra as the material source, support, and end for the whole Jagat. In relation to something, it is the same Nirvisesham Brahma, the same absolute, the full self, is taught as Ishvara, as the material, as the source, support, and end, in relation to something. But that relation itself is scrapped ultimately, and that is what is called correction. And then one comes to know the Swarupa. And therefore here, and therefore Kankshanta Karmanam Siddhim. And therefore, when they don't take interest in understanding Bhagavan, then they only they get into rituals. Then either you get into rituals or you get into understanding. Rituals Kankshanta Karmanam Siddhim. Kankshanta means desiring. Karmanam Siddhim means the 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 success of the rituals, the success of the actions. The success, Siddhi means success. The Karmanam Siddhi means the success of all activities, efforts. Karmanam Siddhim. Yajante yaha devataha. People always worship gods. They perform rituals. When Karmakanda was active, when the people were actively involved in Karmakanda, like rituals, etc., in the before, diligently. Nowadays, they are not diligently involved in rituals. Nobody is interested in the rituals. Everybody, there is a general aversion towards rituals, but then rituals are really, there is no understanding, because as the education pervades, as the people get educated, they want to understand things. But then when it comes to understanding, and they don't want to get involved in rituals nowadays. There is a general aversion towards the rituals. Kshipram hi manushe loke. Kshipram means very quickly, very quickly. He manushe loke, in this human world. Kshipram hi manushe loke. Siddhir bhavati. The result comes. The devatas always give the result quickly, because the devatas are not really divine people. The devatas are those who are devanam, who are like us. They are jivas like us, devatas like Indra, Agni. They're all Indra, Agni. They're all nothing but jivas like us, and therefore, just as we inhabitate the earth, they habitate heaven. It is said, but then they are also denizens of heaven. They're also individuals. They may be lighter, etc. They may be lighter, so what? But then they may not look like earthly individuals. They may look like different heavenly denizens, but then they're also individuals. They also have a form. They're also objectifiable to themselves. They're also something. They're all embodied individuals. Just as we look upon a cow as a helper, it helps you and you help the cow. The cow helps you by way of giving you milk, and you help the cow by way of by way of giving her the grass. But in the same manner, We give the gods some ghritam, some havis, Indraya Swaha, Agnaye Swaha, Varunaya Swaha, like this, Swaha Swaha Volke. Then we always give them something, ghritam, and they give us some results. That is called Karmakanda rituals. Unless you say Swaha, there is no ritual, please. And therefore, in all these rituals, Swaha is there. Swaha means you are offering some some ghritam, some havis to devatas. And when you perform rituals like this, devata at the time of Krishna, people used to worship rituals. People used to take interest in rituals, and the rituals used to bring quickly the results. Chipram hi manushe loke, siddhir bhavati. Siddhir bhavati means success becomes successful. You get the material result. Karmaja, the born of karma. It is born of karma. You have to make an effort, then alone. And even the ritual gives you result. Your worship gives you result only when you make effort. Without making effort, even a ritual by itself doesn't give you result. You have to make an effort. Then what does the ritual do? The ritual only removes the vignas. Removes the vignas. Vignas means some vigna, some obstacle that is there between the that success and yourself. That obstacle goes away through the ritual. That is the meaning here. But then when it comes to the fullness is not something that is born of a ritual. That is a born of your effort. That is born of your vichara. That is born of your discerning. Like science is not a born of a ritual, nor is it born of going up and down. It is not born of a physical movement. Supposing you go for a walk, that doesn't give you any science knowledge. It's not, you go up and down the stairs, it doesn't give you any, that is an effort. But it may make your legs strong, but it doesn't make you a scientist. Science is just as you have to understand a fact as a fact. A fact is always understood. Here also, the fact about yourself is you are not the form. That is the fact about yourself, and that should be understood. The factuality of the fact is that you are not the form, and discerning between the form and your existence is exactly what is necessary, and that is what gives you jnanam. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, Kshipram himanushay loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. It is not a born of a ritual, it is not born of an action, any activity, it is not born of anything. It is not born at all. Your fullness is already your nature, and therefore when nobody takes interest in this, and therefore a person who is interested in understanding, he only prays to for antahkarana shuddhi. Hey Bhagavan, give me mental purity. Hey Bhagavan, inspire me to know the truth. Inspire me to know the truth. I am not inspired to know the truth. Please inspire me to know the truth. In this manner, he will ask for inspiration. He will ask for Antahkarana Shuddhi. Even that inspiration is a part of Antahkarana Shuddhi ji. It's meant Jignasa. A Jignasu says, give me the inspiration to know. And therefore, here, people always follow the rituals. If they don't have interest in understanding the truth, then they follow rituals. They take interest in rituals. If they are not interested in rituals, then they take interest in understanding the truth. In order to take interest in understanding the truth, in understanding, in taking interest, lies exactly the secret of happiness. If you take interest in understanding, that's a big thing. That is exactly, even the Bhagavan says, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. The last birth may not be, why not this birth can be, why not this birth be taken as the final birth? Why can't we take, understanding is important at any time of their life, whether this life or next life. Understanding is important. Am I a form? I feel so much, so naturally that I am the form. But how can I feel If I am not the form, then how can I feel so naturally? And the Shastra Vedanta says, you see yourself as a form, and that is what is called avidya. Consciousness looks at itself as a form, and that's why it's called avidya. Avidya means ignorance, non-understanding and misunderstanding. And misunderstanding and non-understanding is felt only in the realm of misunderstanding. Non-understanding is not something separately. There is between non-understanding and misunderstanding, there is no kalakrama, there is only pratipatti krama. Pratipatti krama means there is only a sequence, reason result sequence, not really kala, the time sequence. Time sequence is different from logical sequence. Logical sequence is without non-understanding, there would be no misunderstanding. But it is experienced, the non-understanding is experienced only in the realm of misunderstanding embodiment. Otherwise, it would be kalakrama. There is no kalakrama. You only think of why there is misconception, because there is no non-understanding. Right, because of the lack of right understanding. Because of the lack of right understanding, there is a misunderstanding. That is how one says. And therefore, this is what is called avidya. Avidya means, due to avidya, man always thinks that he is the form, and therefore that even though it is natural, it is swabhavikam to feel that I am the form. But by diligent thinking, you understand that you are not the form, because there is illogicality in this naturally felt form. There is illogicality, and what is illogical is illogical. Even if it looks natural, you may think that it is natural, but it's not natural. It is a very illogical. Why? Because you are a conscious being and the body is inert. And the conscious being inert, the conscious being sees the inert, and what is seen is inert. The body is inert, and what the one who sees is conscious, and the one who sees the inert, it has to be different from the inert. The seer is always different from the seen, and therefore non-discerning of the form and the consciousness is the result. And the non-discern, and therefore Bhagavan inspire me to discern between the form and my existence. Existence is different from the form. One's conscious existence is different from the physical form. You are solely conscious, please. You are not physical. You are not a blend of both form and consciousness. You are solely a conscious being. You are solely a conscious being. And therefore, as a conscious being, you continue to be the full, and that it needs to be understood. The discerning is exactly what is called the methodology of understanding, viveka. Viveka bhava and viveka bhava. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, when there is viveka bhava, then there will be no viveka bhava. When there is viveka bhava, there is no viveka bhava. Then there will be aviveka. Aviveka means misunderstanding. There is dehoham iti vritti, iti adhyasa. The non-understanding leads to adhyasa, that I am the body, and discerning leads to correction. And therefore, wherever there is erroneous understanding, the error doesn't go away unless I correct it. Erroneous knowledge doesn't go away unless I can make a correction of it. And therefore, like when you solve an arithmetic problem or a mathematical problem wrongly, you have to recognize that it is wrong first. That is a very big thing. And having recognized that it is wrong, then you have to go through it again and make a correction. Without making a correction, even if you go up and down the stairs, a lot of times it is not going to be the same. It's not going to be corrected. So the error will not go away unless it is corrected. Similarly, dehoham is an illogical error, and it is illogical and it is an knowledge that I am the form. It is erroneous knowledge, and this erroneous knowledge has to be corrected, otherwise it is not going to go away. And therefore, A jignasu always prays to God, inspire me to understand the truth, inspire me to know the truth. Whereas the others always ask gods, those who are not moksharthis, those who are not moksharthis, but then vittarthis, phalarthis, those who want material results, they get into rituals, and rituals give them results quickly, and therefore they take more interest in the rituals, and ultimately they miss the bus of understanding themselves, because your existence is all important. If your existence is the truth, then why go anywhere? Because the truth is not something that can be reached in time and space. Anything that can be reached has to be departed from. You have to depart from it one day. If you reach it, you can't create it. Anything that is created, that can be destroyed also. Anything that is purified can become impure again. Anything that can be modified can be remodified, and therefore truth is not something that is subject, that is a victim of all these four changes. It cannot be reached, it cannot be created, it cannot be purified, it cannot be modified. It's not apyam, it's not it's not utpadyam, it's not it's not sanskaryam, it's not vikaryam, and therefore it's something. You are being it. You are being the truth. You cannot you cannot you cannot make the truth an object of your thought. You can be it. You can't like silence. You can be silence. You can't objectify silence. You can be silence. Similarly, you can be the truth. You can't objectify the truth. You can be the truth. That is understanding. You can only be the truth. You cannot objectify the truth. If you objectify, it becomes an object. Therefore, you don't objectify the truth. You are being the truth. That being the truth is what is called, what is being the topic of Vedanta. Thank you very much. And the more of it we will see later. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.